Hey everyone, I'm Kylie Stewart, and I'm so excited to come to you via LinkedIn Live. We've never done this before, so this is really cool to be able to talk to you today about OASIS Plus and the Q&A breakdown from the most recent Q&As. If you can see me, or if you're watching our video, whether it's live or whether you're watching just a recording, let me know that it worked so that we can try to use this format in the future. Here we go. Let's talk about OASIS Plus, shall we? The government released a Q&A. And you may be asking yourself, why should I trust this random person who's coming across my LinkedIn? If you're following us and you're attending our event because you're following us, we appreciate you coming back to us. But if you are new here, we are a service-disabled veteran-owned small business who love to make your proposal process easier. We've helped hundreds of companies submit more compelling and more compliant proposals over the last few years. And our goal is to help you improve that process and feel more confident in your proposal submissions so that you can grow your business. We've worked on major vehicles in the government, including OASIS Plus, rather, Polaris. We've done MAPS. We did AFRL, may it rest in peace. And we've helped companies on their own individual RFPs and OTAs, and a variety of other state and local government options and federal contracting options. So we can help you in that same process. We offer a la carte support, so you can come in and have us do a proposal management for you, just a resume review, grade team reviews, all sorts of different stuff that can help you. You just have to reach out to us and we'll scope it out for you, and we can kind of have custom support. So let's talk about what we're doing today. First, we're going to talk about some clarifications we received in the Q&A, then answer some more or go over some more questions that came from those clarifications. And then we're going to talk about what we may expect in the next Q&A. Let's dig in. I have made you a beautiful eye chart here, so I'm going to let it take over. Here are the top 5 clarifications that we got from the frequently asked questions in the Q&A that the government released. Can you reuse your project forms? Yes, absolutely. If you have a project form that's still valid from phase 1, they emphasize that you can reuse it in phase 2. You just want to make sure that that project is still recent and all of the information still applies based on the new submission date and not the submission date from phase 1. For add domain modification. So if you already have an OASIS Plus award and you are looking to add an additional domain for more coverage, you don't have to submit the responsibility information. You can just submit the things that illustrate your add domain modifications. For project reuse, there's been some questions about whether you're allowed to reuse projects across multiple domains. And they've really emphasized that the restriction only applies to using the same project within a single domain and solicitation. So you can use the same qualifying project and federal experience project across different OASIS Plus solicitations, but you need to make sure that separate legal entities submitting to different solicitation pools and not the same entity is submitting that project. So if you're trying to claim the same project twice within one proposal, that's not okay. You just got to break it up. They've given you lots of great examples of that in the Q&A. And so check that out because your specific information or your specific situation may apply, and you'll be able to kind of like reference and build off of how they describe it. If you were an unsuccessful phase 1 offerer, you do have to submit an entirely new submission and address the unsuccessful offer. So they've given you some formatting about how to do that unsuccessful offer address, what you need to write up and what you need to talk about, but you do have to submit an entirely new submission. And in terms of JP6s, a lot of times, or maybe more recently, the official that was evaluating you or overseeing your contract is no longer available. Either they were reduced in force or something else has happened and they moved to a different office. So if you're unable to obtain a record, they do allow you to submit a document stating that you're unable to obtain that record. And you can have somebody else who has cognizance of that project validate your information and fill out that form. You do still need to include that contracting officer information just in case, but you can have somebody else who is a government employee who has cognizance sign that record. And lastly, they've given us loads of JV clarification, lots of examples of JV relationships and how they change. So check those out because your circumstances may be within that FAQ and you may be able to kind of deconflict some of your project usages and how you want to protect yourself going forward. So let's dig in now to the things that left us with a few more questions. Um, First, question 79 introduced this idea of a proposal cycle, which is not language that we've seen just yet. And really, the question that comes from this is, do we start fresh in phase two, or are we still covering the things or being responsible for the things that happened in phase one? This really has to do with project allocation. So if you had an M&A project that you want to reapply to human capital or B&A, do those apply fresh? Can you use that money? Can you reallocate that project? And what does this proposal cycle requirement mean? The next one is question 52, and we think this is an error. Basically, this is saying that PSCs aren't going to give you auto relevance. But the solicitation says that there are PSCs that can give you auto relevance. And so we think this is an error, and we want to just emphasize that we have to remember that the solicitation is the truth and the ground truth. And so if you have questions about maybe an answer in a Q&A, go back to the solicitation and see what your interpretation is there. And hopefully they'll clarify whether this is right or not in the future. So what we're waiting on still is how we can allocate average annual value across different domains. Can I reuse dollars if work covers multiple domains? Can I reuse average annual value from phase one into new domains now? Next, we're still waiting on the SAM.gov tagging example. We were given a FPDS example where they tagged everything for us and made it look nice and neat. We're waiting on a similar one for the new SAM.gov printout. In the meantime, if you're interested in any FPDS grief support meetings, we're happy to host those. Just reach out to me and we'll set it up so we can cry over the death of FPDS. And finally, in those SAM.gov records, the funding agencies looks a little bit different than they did in the FPDS records. And so previously, you can get a little bit more diverse in terms of your funding agency. And so, what we may see kind of what that looks like in the SAM.gov records or how you could prove additional funding agency relevance outside of SAM.gov. So that's our quick down and dirty. If you have any questions about OASIS Plus, we're more than happy to chat with you and talk with you about your specific circumstance and help you navigate this. We're doing eligibility checks for clients and helping them prepare their documentation and their submission, and we'd love to chat with you. Please feel free to reach out to us, sales@tridentproposals.com, or check out our website and our YouTube. We'd love for you to follow us there. And thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of your time and let us know how your OASIS Plus submission is going. Thanks so much.